Welcome back. Welcome back. Talking a little young bulls today. The young guys are taking over the league. If you guys haven't noticed already, I mean, Anthony Edwards on social media hype is at an all-time high. Shea balling, and it feels like they haven't played in months at this point. But yeah, it's just the young talent is becoming the prominent force in the league. Like we see KD, Braun, Steph all out in the first round or below. It's just wild. And like this
First
offseason,
time since 2005.
yeah, it's like the top 10 or the top 10, top 25 guys are going to be primarily young guys. Like we're seeing this older generation disappear right before our eyes. Even the guys like, I mean, Kyrie is still dominant and like Paul George and Kawhi, like that era is still kind of there. But I still think the young guys are surpassing them right now, which is just wild to even say. Just basically going to talk young guys, who's really impressing us kind of thing going forward, their first playoff series and all that stuff. But I mean, let's just start off with Ant, man. Just we're recording this right before the game tips off. The game's on Monday, tip off, so we're not going to know what happens in game two. But I mean, just in game one, to go out there, drop 43, and get the win in Denver, just really, really impressive. The last team to beat Denver in Denver, Minnesota, on March something. So like they have no problem doing this. Their crowd, Denver's crowd is crazy. The altitude's tough to play in. And just a credit to Ant and honestly the T-Wolves as a whole. They've been unbelievable the whole season. I didn't know if I believed in them totally until this playoffs run, but man, they look legit. They look really, really, really good.
Cat was great. Rudy was great. They're just everybody has such a specific role on that squad, and I don't want to go on a big tangent here because we're talking about young guys, but that's a really special group they put together. Ant by himself is the most complete player to have entered this potential new star space that I can even remember.
Right.
I mean, every single aspect of his game, his decision making severely improving, his physical condition severely improving. He's a phenomenal defender. He's great in transition. He can isolate. He's so strong. Those bump fades he was hitting, he bullied the entire team. They switched. Everybody got a turn. And when you got a guy like that who does it everywhere, energy plays as well, vocal leader. I mean, like we did it. I found out what video it was that I said it in. I just got to get the screen record. It was in our top 50 ranking. And it was, you agreed with me in the moment, 12. Ant, top 3 player, first day of the 2024-2025 season. Stand on it, double down on it.
He beats Denver and gets to the finals and even possibly
the flashes really started in Team USA this summer.
When we talked Team USA, we were saying how Team USA really helps the guys because you're getting the best coaches. You're getting a Steve Kerr. You're getting an Eric Spoelstra.
That's why, speaking of young guys, you see Austin Rivers say they should throw Cooper Flag on.
Yeah, they should.
Team USA.
They should.
All vets and Cooper Flag and just let him get in there and practice. It's just practice every day with those guys, but getting off on a tangent. The whole before we move into player by player, like the whole young guys thing, the league is in good hands. This is the most fun. It feels like the most fun the NBA has been since like 2016. There's good memes. There's good play. People are emerging. Records being broken. Like we got Wemby, people like Brunson. Like there's just a lot of fun going on in the league right now, and there's a lot of parity in the league, which is great. Teams getting knocked off, swept. It's awesome right now. It's a great time to be an NBA fan.
You know, I'll make one last point on Ant. Like, just the one thing that stuck out to me the most, like, obviously his on-court play is unbelievable. Just after the game, I think it was game 4 maybe, when Cat had a really, really good game versus Phoenix. And he's in the post-game interview, and he's like, so I told you, stop fouling. And, like, he jokes about it, but he's serious. And, like, that's what you need in the leader. You don't want some guy, like, being like, do this, do that. You want a guy that's friendly, but also, okay, if I tell you this is what's going to happen kind of thing. And he's just, the leadership at 22 is remarkable, especially because they have a young team, but they have guys like Mike Conley, Karl-Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, who've been in the league for a long time.
Well, it's almost similar to like a corporate office culture where you don't listen to your boss. You listen to your role model in that office, someone who gets the job done and who does it in a cool way and who will sit you down and talk to you stern, but is also only doing so because they're looking out for your best interest. And even as someone who's younger than a lot of guys on the team, Ant's doing a great job of that. You want to listen to the guy who's cool at the end of the day.
Right. And I say he makes everybody better. With that being said, stop fucking fouling, telling Cat that. And in game one, Cat had 5 fouls, damn near fouled out. And that's when Naz Reid showed up big time. But Rudy, went on to say after that everybody is like, it's a support system. And I think that is due to Ant's energy and, Rudy being defensive player of the year. Again, it's looking like that. All of that is due to the leadership of Ant. But I'll say this, and then we can move on. Jamal Crawford was calling that game one against Denver. And then he said, is he the best two-way player in the league? You know what I'm saying? And it's looking like so. And I would say yes myself. I would say Ant is the best two-way player in the league. And I think that he may be, that guy for real.
I don't actually hate that, to be honest. Definitely could be. Let's move on to another guy. Yeah, we'll get to him. But I was going to go more to the MVP, possible MVP, top 3 MVP finish, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, man. Just another guy to me. I know his numbers last year are really good, but this year, just the eye test kind of thing it's off the charts. I thought he had an unbelievable season, leading that team to a 1 seed in what was an absolute gauntlet of a Western Conference. Is just all credit in the world to him. And obviously they have guys like Chet and Jalen Williams who are unbelievable young guys too. We're not going to focus on them because there's too many good ones to name, but we're just going to talk to the top of the top. But I mean, he's just special, man. And it's the same thing with Ant. It's just an aura around the team that he just makes everyone feel at ease. And it's just one of those things that we get to see from guys that are normally like 28, 29 in their prime kind of thing. And like the top leaders, but these guys are so young. And I think it's not as impressive as Ant leading an older group in relation to the Thunder, but still, I mean, Shai is still 25 and like their team is young. They're all 21, 22 basically, but still, he's still leading them. And like, I think that's really impressive just for a guy that's under 30, to be honest, like to lead them that way and to do what he does on and off the court like, it's just special stuff.
He said, well, my whole life consistent. He took that from me.
Yeah. Okay.
He took that from me, but it's cool. And that's another guy who can close games. Like Ant, we didn't even really mention that about him. He could close games. Shai can close games. Like these young guys, I don't know if it's the development of playing AU or playing people are just super freak athletes now or whatever it may be. But even Paul George said when Shai was on the Clippers or whatever, I forget. He said we knew his rookie year. Like you could just tell when someone's one of them was, and Shai definitely is so efficient, gets to his spots, and like I said, bro, can close games. That takes players a long time to get over that hump of where you might be nice and you might be able to do someone in like this or do someone in like that, but closing games consistently is really hard to do in the NBA. Probably the hardest thing you can do. Look at Tatum. And he's been doing a great job of that, which is probably the most impressive thing about him for me.
That's a fact. And the same thing with a lot of these players on this list we just got done talking about. And it comes down to poise and composure. And I think Shai carries that, in a different type of way than any of the cats that, we'll name today. But Shai's definitely that guy, leader, consistent, composed, and wants to win and focuses on, the betterment of his team and showing up in the ways that will be best for the team. And that includes execution as well. So shout out to Shai, shout out to OKC doing it, and Coach of the Year, Mark Daigneault. Shout out to him.
Yeah. We'll go to another guy, Maxey. I just think for all these guys that we're going to talk about, it's a confidence thing. It's these guys just exude so much confidence, and it's not something you see from young guys, which maybe I'm just not remembering, but like, I guess Tatum, when he was still at this point and we're the same age, we're talking about these guys, but I mean, he's still a younger guy. He's just been in the playoffs and around for so long, but it's just the confidence that all these guys have. Like Maxey, James Harden leaves, you're forced to take that role. Embiid gets hurt, now you're forced to be the one. And I know they didn't have a good like regular season when Embiid was out, and they were kind of below 500, but still, like just in the playoffs, man, he was just so good. And like I thought was probably the best player on the floor for the Sixers, which is just crazy to say. Embiid had a bigger impact to me, but I thought Maxey overall played just a really, really solid series. And it's just one of those things that it's the athleticism, not vertically, but the speed that Maxey plays with and the body control is so important. And like you don't get that body control until you bulk up a little bit. And he's still so skinny and small to me in NBA relation to other guys, but like he just uses his body and his quickness so well that we don't see guys like this doing that. Like think of like even guys that came in and took the league by storm, like a Donovan Mitchell or a Jason Tatum, who are the older of the young guys. I just didn't see this. To me. Maybe I'm forgetting because it feels like so long ago, but maybe I didn't see this from these guys. Like Shea is 25, like really in the MVP race, like was the MVP for a while. And like Maxey's not at that level, but I thought in that playoff series, he was an MVP, the MVP for the Sixers in those games.
I just pray for good health for all that.
Yeah.
We don't want a D Rose situation. I'm trying to think right now the last time someone so young was so poised as D Rose.
Yeah, probably
that I can remember. And obviously his career was derailed by injuries, but like it is a confidence thing, and a lot of it comes from like it's hard to explain unless you've played it. And the Tatum class of guys also kind of experience it, but like someone like a LeBron or a KD, not. That it kind of started after them, but it's like the AAU stuff and like the advanced workouts and the plyos and all different kind of stuff that these guys are doing that no one's ever done before because it didn't really exist. I think that plays a huge part in it. Same thing with Wemby, even the way he stretches, the way he maintains his body, like that. It's just all new age kind of stuff. And I think as much as I like to hate on him, Bron's a big reason for that, investing in his body, showing how to take care of yourself, and he's been a great example for the young guys on that front.
That's a fact. And I say, Curry and all these cats as well, the more that the game continues to evolve, the more that these young cats have to learn, get to learn from at, the youngest age. So, folks grew up watching Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley and all of that, but like weren't too many guys like those guys who were as prominent as they were, but then you started having Kobe, Bron, Curry, KD, a list of players. So, folks our age grew up to witness that, bear witness to that, but practice that at 4 or 5 years old, 3 years old to be as great as they are, be as prolific as they are. Jason Tatum, damn near 400 of the guys that are in the league right now. That's why I say the competition is the highest that it's ever been. The league is
incredible. There's more stars than ever. Like that's the biggest thing.
Every team has 2 stars.
And these guys are just they're coming on so early. Like they're so young.
Pause.
Pause.
Anyways, so Maxey's definitely one of those guys. Reminds me a lot of De'Aaron Fox just in regards to his speed. I think what Finn is, what really takes notice is probably like the 2017 draft. I think from then up, you start to see damn near every cat that's on the roster really step up, show you the potential, but really start to step into their own game, play with that confidence and poise that Maddie's talking about. Maxey is definitely one of those guys. He's continuing to develop his strength and utilize his speed, control the pace of the game, which makes him the best player. Like Embiid is the best player and has the greatest impact. But I think with Maxey being able to stay healthy, I think definitely learning from Harden, he's going to be able to continue to show up just how we've seen Tatum in the playoffs as many times since he's been drafted. So shout out to Maxey for real.
There's also a group, before we do another individual player, there's a whole another group, and this isn't just being a homer, this is just using someone as an example of like the Cam Thomases of the NBA, who are not even particularly that nice compared to like a Maxey. I know, you know what I'm saying now.
IQ.
Not as complete of a player technically, but confident. Like these guys have just scored their whole lives and played 10 games in a weekend and scored 30 every single game. And that's going to carry over no matter what. And it's a lot of these guys are just as good as each other. They're all just in different situations. I think there's games that if CT and Maxey were switched, he gets 40 just like that. Or he turns the ball over more and he plays worse defense. But you know what I'm saying? Like there's so many guys that are as talented as these guys we're mentioning who just aren't in the right situation or whatever. And the league has never been like that, ever.
Yeah, I just think the league is deep as it's ever been. Like there's every team basically has a star. Like You could go to the worst teams in the NBA. The Pistons have Cade, who will be a star in my opinion, or the Hornets with LaMelo, or even Brandon Miller. I thought had a great rookie year.
We could go all day. We didn't even talk about Wemby.
That's where we're going next. Last one, wrap it up. We're just going to talk Wemby real quick, but he hasn't, obviously hasn't done anything major accomplishment wise in his rookie season besides winning rookie of the year, which I guess is all you could do. But obviously this has a lot to do with the size, but he looked like the best defensive player in the NBA in his rookie season at 19, 20 years old. It's insane. I know the size has a lot to do with that, but it's not only about the size. It's where you are. Are you blocking these shots out of bounds? Are you blocking them to teammates? Are you keeping the possession so that your team can get out and run? Are you being able to slide and switch even though you're 10 feet taller than everyone else on the floor? Are you able to switch onto a guard and hold your own? We've seen it throughout the entirety of his rookie season that he's been able to do these things. And with time, and you even saw it just throughout the 1 year, just the IQ of playing NBA basketball has grown so much. And I don't feel like we ever really saw that from the top end young guys. Like, think about the number one picks in just the last few years. Like the other previous, there was a lot of misses, like an Anthony Bennett or an Andrew Wiggins. I know Andrew Wiggins is good, but like Fultz, like these guys are Ben Simmons now. Like there's a lot of misses, but think about the guys we've seen in recent years: Anthony Edwards, Cade Cunningham, Victor Wembanyama. Like it's just Paulo. Like dude, they're all money, and it's just the confidence thing. And I'm just Wemby's insane. I can't wait to see him for the rest of his career. I just think that right now these guys, like it's just going to be a tough race between, I think, Shea, Ant, and Wemby over the next, like say in 3 years. I think those are going to be the clear 1, 2, 3, and it's going to be tough to beat out Wemby just because of the size as long as he stays healthy. But Ant right now just has the aura around him that I don't think people are going to want to give up. And I think Wemby, once he starts like getting into the playoffs and all that, it's going to get a lot of hate and all that, or a ton of love. It's going to be like the LeBron Jordan kind of thing where it's either love, hate kind of thing.
Last thing, we're talking about these guys, and this kind of goes without saying, but I want to mention it regardless. Like, I know Ant's made comments that he's 40% of his ceiling, or he feels that way.
That's the craziest part.
And that's the most important part of this whole thing, is that, like, as good as these guys are, he looks like the best player in the NBA right now, and he's claiming he's at 40% of his ceiling. So, like, I don't know where else you can go from a lot of these guys, but like you're just going to get more playoff experience. You're going to see the ball go through the rim more times. You're going to win more games. You're going to get more accolades. The skill goes up. The confidence goes up. Everything goes up. And I think I was a little sad about the KD Bron everything era ending, but like the league is low key in very good hands.
It's in great hands. It's every team too. Shout out to Wemby. But I want to take this time to, give some honorable mentions. We already mentioned P5, Paolo Banchero, Brandon Miller over there in Charlotte. I say Jalen Green is also one of those cats as well. He started to showcase that, post All-Star break this season. Devin Vassell over there with Wemby, Keontae George in Utah. Trae Young is one of those cats as well, just 25, 20.
He's in the older group.
He's in the Tatum group. Hallie.
Luka, like,
yeah.
all
these talk about Luka. Think about that.
We're talk about Luka, who just averaged 35-point triple-double.
I said IQ, Emmanuel Quickly, Cam Thomas.
The league is just deep. Man.
Kobe White or not? Kobe's a little bit older.
But we didn't even talk about Hallie or any of those. Like,
we can do this for hours.
It's literally all day. It's never been like that. So,
but yeah. Leave your favorite young player in the comments because we want to hear them all. Maybe we'll do a video on them in the offseason. We're definitely going to be doing all the other stuff. But
we should class them.
Yeah, we could do that. We could do a tier list of them. But all right, that's it for this one. Like, comment, subscribe.